Hola, 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 hola. Good evening, dear students. Welcome to Competitiveness Module 10, Code FG708. Today we are on week number 4, and we're going to study the next topics. The number 1, that is Coleridge model. The number 2, that is life zones in Guatemala. And the number 3, examples of life zones in Guatemala. As always, you have my personal data here. If you want to send me a message or a question, and remember that you have this QR code in order to subscribe to our Telegram group. Let's continue with our objectives for today. The first one, that is study the Coleridge life zones model. Then we're going to define the different life zones in Guatemala, and next we're going to describe the characteristics of some life zones in Guatemala. Let's go ahead. Coleridge model for life zones. Okay, this is a diagram that was created a few years ago, and that is used around the world in order to be able to analyze the life zones of our country, and of course in other countries. We first need to have the international nomenclature to be able to make our local classifications. The reference used worldwide is the Coleridge diagram, which is shown in the following scheme. The diagram represents the different general life zones of the world, but for Guatemala, local adaptations are made. Fortunately, local studies of the life zones of Guatemala have already been carried out, and we refer to them in the following pages. Let's check this diagram here that is called the Coleridge model for life zones. Okay. When we use this model, we need to know that there are 3 main parameters that this model uses. And the first one is the potential evapotranspiration ratio. The other parameter is the annual precipitation in millimeters. And the third parameter is the humidity provinces here. Okay? So based on these 3 parameters, this model defines many types of climates through a country or through the world. Let's check. Here we can see, for example, the desert, this shape, or maybe a rainforest here to your right. We can also see a dry forest here, or we can see a moist forest like this one here, or a rain tundra maybe, and so on. It depends on how many annual precipitation we will have, like 125 millimeters, 250 millimeters, or 4,000 millimeters, or maybe the type of humidity provinces like the arid here, or semi-arid, or humid. And also, this is an intersection or combination between the three parameters, like this one here, that we could have maybe this value of potential evapotranspiration ratio, or this value here too, and so on. This is the way we can read or interpret this model. So let's continue with our class. We can use this model also to analyze and study different climates here in Guatemala. And the first one that we have here is the very dry tropical forest. And we have some information about this climate. The location and extension of this climate, the very dry tropical forest, um, is located in the departments of El Progreso, Zacapa, and Chiquimula. Considered the driest region of the country, it has a territorial extension of 81,887 hectares. This value here equivalent to 0.76% of the national territory. This is a small area in our country, and it is located at an average altitude of 356 meters above sea level, with its lowest point at 146 meters above sea level, and the highest at 1,009 meters above sea level. Let's check the next slide information for this very dry tropical forest climate and vegetative characteristics. So here we have a photo that was taken in La Fragua, Estanzuela, Zacapa, and here we can see some small trees or small shrubs, like a cactus here, like this cactus, or small trees like here, small trees, or maybe some shrubs, or bushes, okay, or bushes. Let me write down this word here, bushes. You can use a dictionary to check and understand these words that I'm writing here. So these are the climate and vegetative characteristics. Let's continue. And here we have the climate conditions for this very dry tropical forest. That is a small climate here in our country. This life zone registers annual rainfall between 577 and 1,333 millimeters of rainfall, with an average of 740 millimeters. The annual average minimum and maximum temperature values are between 23.10 and 27.40 Celsius degrees, with an average value of 26.04 Celsius degrees for the entire zone. Potential evapotranspiration and average rainfall is 0.07, which means that for every millimeter of rainfall, 2.07 millimeters are used for these are used for evapotranspiration, making this life zone present a significant water deficit. So uh, here we will not able to find enough water. Let's check the dominant land uses that refers to the different ways that people have in order to use this land. The is 62.77% of the area of this life zone is covered by shrubs and bushes, as I said before, shrubs and bushes. 11.59% by animal agriculture. Oh, people is using this land for agriculture, also by forest. The rest of the territory is used for other land uses. Let's go ahead. Here we can see a diagram where we have some values. Uh, the annual precipitation that you have here with this blue line. This blue line is the annual precipitation here. And the other one, the red line, is the evapotranspiration. I mean, the potential evapotranspiration. And so here, within this area, the very dry tropical forest, there's only a few values of this blue line that is like the minimum value. The minimum value here is like 0, and the maximum value is like 120, 25 millimeters of rainfall. Okay, rainfall of rainfall. So this is the amount of water that we have from March to November here. Okay, this is the amount of rainfall, and we only have like this value. Let's say for the red line here, let's say like 110 millimeters of potential evapotranspiration water. Okay. Now let's continue with the next slide information. Here we can see the map, the small area that this very dry tropical forest occupies through our country. And also we have the knowledge module. Let's analyze some characteristics of this very dry tropical forest here. That is a small area we can see here through, as I said before, El Progreso, Zacapa, and Chiquimula. Then there's a, let's say, a zoom here where we have the departments of El Progreso, Zacapa, and Chiquimula, and the okay. Let me go back just a bit in order to have a zoom here. Just a minute. Just a minute. Going back. And let's check the haulage model here. Okay, in this case, the name for the very dry forest in Spanish is bosque muy seco here. And this is the shape that we have within the haulage model. It represents only the 0.76% of the national territory. Okay, the one that we see here, this is a small area in our country, and this is the interpretation that we can see here. And now let's continue with the next slide information. Now there's another climate that is tropical dry forest. Let's check the location and extension of this area. And this information here says that the tropical dry forest life zone is located in the northern Petén, as well as in the departments of El Progreso, Zacapa, Chiquimula, and Jutiapa, and along with the Pacific coast covering the departments of San Marcos, Quetzaltenango, Tarulew, Sultepeques, Escuintla, Santa Rosa, and Jutiapa. It has a territorial extension of 2 million hectares. 2 million hectares. Okay, let's check here this data here. 2 million hectares, equivalent to 19.21% of the national territory, making it the second largest life zone in the country. It is located at an average altitude of 196 meters above sea level, with its lowest point at 0 meters above sea level and the highest at 1,082 meters above sea level. Okay, so here we can see that this is a big area through our country. Let's check climate and vegetative characteristics. So here we have this photo that was taken from Parque Nacional Mirador Petén, and this is the let's say a typical example of the tropical dry forest. Let's continue. Climate conditions. This information here says that the annual rainfall in this life zone ranges between 705 and 1,000 863 millimeters with an average of 1,407 millimeters. The annual average minimum and maximum temperature values are between 24 and 28.3 Celsius degrees, with an average value of 25.7 Celsius degrees for the entire zone. Let's analyze this diagram here, this graphic. Let's check the blue line here, where we can see that the minimum and maximum values, it is like 50 millimeters here, 50 millimeters. And on top, we have like, let's say, 200, let's say 225 millimeters. We're talking about rainfall here, and we're talking also about the months of April to November. So it means that during these months, we are getting this amount of rainfall that this blue line indicates. So we also have the red line. We also have the red line here that represents the potential evapotranspiration, and the value is an average of, let's say, 125 millimeters. Okay, let's go ahead. Now we are analyzing the dominant land uses for the tropical dry forest. The 57.65% of the area is occupied by this time zone, and it is covered by forests. Okay, let me turn on my pen. Covered by forest. We're talking about the 57% approximately. Here we have the 12.22% by shrubs and bushes. And also we have the 12.02% by livestock and 5.67% by sugar cane, and also 4.96% by basic grains. Basic grains, when we speak about basic grains, we're talking about maize, maize, beans also, or we're talking about maybe wheat also. Wheat. They are the basic grains that we have here in our country. Let's continue. Although it covers a very small area, 0.65%, it is important to mention the presence of African palm cultivation. So this is a new type of plants here in Guatemala, the African palm cultivation. The rest of the territory is used for other land uses. Let's continue checking these characteristics here for the tropical dry forest. And here's the map and the whole ridge model. Let's check. Let's check some information here, some characteristics. This whole ridge model says that this area represents the 19.24% of the national territory, and the shape here in the college model is the one here. And you can see that this color is here, this area in our country. So we have also this area here, also here, and also here, and also here, and this part of our country. So this is the tropical dry forest. Now let's continue with the next slide information. We have also this tropical humid forest in its location and extent. In this case, the tropical rainforest, that is a limestone, is present in the departments of Quiché. Let me turn on my pen again. El Quiché, then also Alta Verapaz and Izabal, the southwestern part of Petén, and a strip that crosses the departments of San Marcos, Quetzaltenango, Retaloneo, Suchitepeques, Escuintla, Santa Rosa, and Coteca. So this is the location and extension of this tropical humid forest. The climate conditions are, let's check this information here. This life zone registers annual rainfall that on average varies between 1,426 millimeters and 4,071 millimeters with an average value of 2,199 millimeters. Okay? These are the climate conditions related to the annual rainfall. The average annual minimum and maximum temperature values are between 24 and 28.1 Celsius degrees with an average value of 25.65 Celsius degrees for the entire ecological system. Okay, so these are all the characteristics that we have on this tropical forest. Let's check for information. The relationship established between potential evapotranspiration and average rainfall volumes for this life zone is 0.69, which means that for every millimeter of precipitation that occurs, 0.69 millimeters is evapotranspired, making this an ecosystem with a water surplus. So if we check again the blue line, this blue line, we are able to see that it is bigger than the previous one, the previous climate that we were analyzing, because the minimum and maximum values are greater also. Okay, here. So we can see that it varies between 50 millimeters to like 350 millimeters of rainfall. Okay, so we also see that red, the red line increased also within this new climate, tropical humid forest, and the value here is let's say one 125 millimeters. Okay, now let's continue with the this tropical humid forest. We also have a photo that was taken from Montaña Chiclera, Morales y Zabal. Here we can see the climate and vegetative characteristics. There's much water. There's much water here. You can see there's not much water. We also have the shrubs here. Shrubs. These are shrubs. Maybe we also have bushes here, and big trees like this one here. That is a big tree. Also here, another big tree. So all of these characteristics are increasing while we are checking this type of climates here in our country. Let's continue. These tropical humid forests also have a land use, and the dominant land uses are 22.45% of the area of this life zone is covered by forests. So these tropical humid forest contains forests 29.12% by cattle ranching, 21.20% by bushes and shrubs, and 9.33% by basic grains. Remember, basic grains are like maize, like beans, like wheat, or maybe rice. And the 6.21% by sugar cane. Sugar cane. You remember, sugar cane is the plant where we obtain the sugar. Okay, sugar cane is like this one here. Sugar cane, let's say. This is a plant where we obtain the sugar. In this zone, there is a greater presence of African palm cultivation. I said that this is a new form of agriculture in Guatemala, which covers 2.81%. The rest of the territory is used for other land uses. Let's check. We have a map here on the college model. Let's check some information and characteristics here. This is the college model. Remember that this is the model that we are studying today, and it represents 31.75% of the total national territory. We have this shade here from the model, from the Holdridge model shade. And this color here is over here. So you can see that this is a greater area compared with the previous areas that we are studying today. Okay? So this is uh, the the tropical humid forest and its characteristics. Okay, now let's continue, but before I can continue, let me check how many of you are connected on YouTube and if you have some questions. So I can see here Olga Otom, good evening. Julio del Cid, good evening. And Maria Dolores, let me check if there's more people here. No, only you. So only you guys. Let's continue with our class. Location and extent of the very humid tropical forest. The life zone of the very humid tropical forest is located in the northern region of Huehuetenango. Remember that we have some departments here. In this case, Huehuetenango, Quiché, Alta, Verapaz, and Izabal, as well as in a strip of volcanic foothills in the southwestern part of the country, which includes the departments of San Marcos, Quetzaltenango, Retalneu, Chitepeques, and Spit. It has a territorial extension of 614,147 hectares. So this is a big area here, equivalent to the 5.67% of the national territory. It can be located at an average altitude of 321 meters above sea level, with its lowest point at 0 meters above sea level and the highest at 1,003 meters above sea level. Let's check the next slide information here. We are still talking about the very humid tropical forest. And now let's see an image of the climate and vegetative characteristics. And if you look at this image here, you will be able to see that here there's big trees, like this one here, big tree. Also, too much water. This big portion of water here, big trees. Okay, so in general, these are the characteristics of the very humid tropical forest. This photo was taken in from Rio Dolores, Chisec, Alta La Paz. So this is an example of this climate here in our country. Climate conditions. The average annual rainfall in this life zone fluctuates between 2,793 and 4,706 millimeters. Remember that we're talking about here the amount of rainfall during the year, and with an average value of 3,583 millimeters, the annual average minimum and maximum temperature values are between 24 and 26.7 Celsius degrees, with an average value of 25.3 Celsius degrees for the entire ecosystem. Let's check more information about this climate. This light zone is characterized by a ratio of potential evapotranspiration and rainfall that on average amounts to 0.42, which means that 0.42 millimeters of each millimeter of rainfall is evapotranspired, resulting in a significant water surplus throughout the ecosystem. So it means that this climate contains more water. Okay, let's check now the map. I think the graphic, and you can see that this blue line here is has increased. So if we compare this with the previous climates, so this is a big one here from 100 to 100 to let's say 525 millimeters of rainfall. So we have this amount of water from the months of, let's say, March to November. Okay? So these are the characteristics of rainfall for the very humid tropical forest. But unfortunately, there's no more time to continue with the class. So have a good night, and I'll see you on the next class.